Hello everyone, good evening, how are you all? So yes, we have here all the questions from the Ssc Cgl examinations which were previously asked. That is, we have previous year questions from Ssc Cgl examination. Without any delay, let's go towards the first question. And what's the first question of the day? The first question is, conversion of heat energy into electrical energy is achieved by using what? So is it ammeter, is it hydrometer, is it voltmeter, or is it thermocouple? What do you think? What will be the correct answer over here? Now, just try to have a look at the options. Obviously, if I'll go with the ammeter, what do you think? Will it be correct answer? Obviously not. Why? Because when I'm talking about this ammeter, just try to compare this part. If I try to compare this part and I'll break this into two parts, meter, that is the measuring instrument, AM, I can actually relate it with ampere. So the meter that is measuring the ampere, that means what? We are talking about current, right? In this similar manner, if I talk about this hydrometer, here we can talk about specific gravity, right? Or if I talk about this density over here, so this is actually for density, that is we talk about relative density as well. If I talk about voltmeter, again I'll break it into two parts. Meter, that is measuring voltage, so obviously it is a voltmeter. And if I'll get to know about these three particular options, obviously these can be eliminated. Now talking about thermocouple, what is a thermocouple? Thermocouple is a type of thermometer. In one way we can say that it is a thermometer where two different metals are there, right? And here if I'll talk about the conversion of heat energy into the electric energy, the correct answer is going to be your thermocouple. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is option number D, that is your thermocouple. Got my point? Okay, so now we have already done the postmortem of this question. Let's move forward with the next question. What is the next question of the day? The next question is, lake freeze in cold countries in winter, leaving the water underneath at what? So we have four of the options here. One is 0 degree centigrade, one is 0 degree Fahrenheit, third one is 4 degree centigrade, and next is 4 degree Fahrenheit. What do you think? What will be the correct answer over here? And everyone who's there in the session, please start commenting and start giving answers so that I can go with the postmortem of these questions. So yes, when I'll talk about this part, if I'll talk about this freezing, if you will talk about 0 degree centigrade, just think of a scenario what will happen at 0 degree centigrade. If I'll just make a water over here, let us assume it is a lake, fine. So if it is a lake and you're talking about freezing part, this means this particular lake will freeze. And if this lake will freeze, just think about the marine life, where if I talk about an ocean, we have those marine organisms where you can talk about those fishes and all. In the similar manner, if I talk about lake, so there might be some aquatic animals which are surviving here. So if I draw some of the fishes over here, just think of the scenario where these fishes are there, these aquatic plants are there. What will happen? If this temperature, whole temperature will be at 0 degree centigrade, that means whole water will freeze. But still next year again, we see these fishes, right? This means this concept is wrong. That is, whole of the water will never freeze. Talking about next option, 0 degree Fahrenheit. Now if I talk about 0 degree Fahrenheit, just try to compare it. Let's have a look at the formula. That is C by 5 barabar F minus 32 by 9. If I'll try to use this formula, just try to put 0 over here. What is going to happen? It will be C by 5 is equal to 0 minus 32 by 9. And it will be what? It will be 5 into minus 32 by 9. This means here degree centigrade temperature is going in negative. Obviously, if temperature will go in negative, that means whole of the water will be freezing. At 0 degree Celsius itself, water is freezing. If I'll talk about this temperature, obviously this is very low temperature. So again, this is also not possible. In the similar manner, if I'll go with 4 degree Fahrenheit, just try to have a look. If I'll go with 4 degree Fahrenheit, again 4 minus 32, that is your answer will be 5 into minus 28 by 9. Just have a look at the temperature again, negative temperature. So this is also not possible. So obviously this option is also eliminated. The only option left is our 4 degree centigrade. Now this was by the mathematical calculation, but What's the logic behind it? The logic behind it is anomalous expansion of water, where I can discuss about the expansion of water in those pipes where, if I talk about a country, cold country, we have a graph that is, this is volume, this is temperature, and we have a graph in this manner. Remember, this was for the density actually. If I talk about the volume, its graph is like this. At 4 degrees centigrade, it is having the least volume, and at 4 degrees centigrade, it is having the maximum density. Remember this part? So what happens when your temperature is going below 4 degrees centigrade, the water is actually expanding, where volume is actually increasing. In this manner, we have Manish here. Hello Manish, how are you? So I was waiting for you. Bio King, huh? So yes, what I was explaining the expansion of water. Just try to think about a cold country in which there's a pipeline and there's a water in it. What will happen if this temperature in the cold country goes below 4 degrees centigrade? The volume of the water will actually increase. And when the volume of water will increase, what will happen? It will start applying pressure on the pipe. At 3 degrees centigrade, pressure. At 2 degrees centigrade, more pressure. At 1.5 degree, more pressure. And there would be a time when this pipeline will actually burst. This is because of this part. In the similar manner, if I'll talk about lake, what is happening? In the lake, the temperature which is possible, I'll just show here. The temperature which is possible, it is in such a manner that at the lowest part, it is around 4 degrees centigrade because of the logic of all those graphs and density. What will happen? The temperature of water will remain 4 degrees centigrade, because of which these fishes and all the aquatic animals can actually survive, right? So, if I talk about this question, lake freezes in the cold countries in winter, leaving behind the water underneath at 4 degrees centigrade. So here option number C will be correct. So I have told you both the logics, one using the graph, and second, if I check the calculations also, mathematical calculation, then also your 4 degrees centigrade is going to be the correct answer. Next question is, vegetables are cooked in lesser time by adding a pinch of salt while cooking. Because of what? So these are the 4 options. Manish and all the other candidates who are there in the session, please start answering. What do you think? Vegetables which are cooked in lesser time by adding a pinch of salt, this is because of what? And I'll tell you, in physics, this question is asked in 2 different ways. One way is when we'll talk about this part where we are adding the salt. Second concept is, if I'll talk about the hill stations, in hill station, cooking becomes quite difficult. Where if I'll talk about rice, they are not in that manner in which they are in the plains. So both the logics are going to be same. What do you think? What will be the correct answer, Manish here? So obviously you are from biology background, but you can try to give these answers also. And if you have any doubt, just let me know. I can sort it out. So yes, what was the question? The question was, vegetables are cooked in lesser time by adding a pinch of salt. So it will do what? It will actually increase the boiling point of the water. And when boiling point of the water will be increased, easily the food can be easily cooked, right? So yes, no idea, no issues. So Manish, I'll again say, what happens when we use a pinch of salt? It will actually increase the boiling point of water so that easily food can be cooked. Okay. So here option number 8, that is a boiling point of the water increases, is the correct answer. Next we have, a gap is left between 2 rails of a railway track to accommodate dash of the metal. Now this is the simple one. We have studied about it in our 10th standard. Remember? So you are already a graduate, so it would be quite easier for you. When I try to draw a rail track, we know that in between we can see some of the gaps. Why is it so? We know that it is the property of the metal, or in short, I'll say that whenever there's a higher temperature, the molecules tend to move away. And yes, at that time, what we say, that metal is actually expanding. When metal is expanding, so obviously what is going to happen? These gaps will be filled. And if these gaps are not given, here there can be derailment of the train. So here what is going to happen? Here linear expansion of the rails will be there. So linear expansion means there is the expansion in the length. I told you this particular length will be actually increased. So because of this increment in the length, we say this type of expansion as the linear expansion. So gap is left between 2 rails of a railway track to accommodate linear expansion of the metal. Okay. So here what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be option number C, that is linear expansion. Moving forward to the next question now. Next we have light scattering takes place in what? So is it colloidal solutions, is it acidic solutions, is it electrolyte solutions, or is it basic solutions? And everyone who's there in this session, please like it, share it, and do not forget to subscribe our channel also, because from tomorrow within 22 days, because our examination is near, what I'll do, we all will be having those sessions in such a manner where all the previous year questions will be covered. Along with that, whatever your doubts are, we are going to help you out with that. So yes, waiting for the answer. Light scattering takes place in what? So is it acidic solution, electrolyte solution, basic solution, or colloidal solution? If I'll talk about these colloidal particles, if I'll talk about a solution, its size is going to be quite greater, right, in comparison to that solution. So yes, Manish, you are absolutely correct here. So light scattering actually takes place in the colloidal solutions. Absolutely correct. So here A is the correct answer. Next, if I talk about this acidic and basic solutions, so how we are going to check whether it is acidic or basic? So we are aware of whenever anything is acidic, we have its pH range from 0 to 6.x, where x denotes NNNN, and sorry 9999. In the similar manner, if I'll talk about a solution to be basic in nature, it can be 7 point anything, starting from any value, 7 point anything, not 0, apart from 0 any value till 14. So it would be basic, and for a neutral part we say that it's exactly 7. Okay, so next we have shaving mirror is what? So is it convex, concave, plane, or parabolic? What do you think? Manish, what can be the answer according to you? And everyone else who is there in the session, I want answer from everyone. What do you think? This shaving mirror must be what? Is it convex, is it concave, is it plane, or is it parabolic? Manish is going with A, that is convex, right? Now please try to understand its logic. There are actually 3 types of mirrors. First one, if I'll talk about the first mirror, it is what? It is plane, where you will be getting the same sized image. But if I'll talk about other two, one is convex, another one is concave. Now what's the difference between two? Convex mirror is the mirror. Acha, you have given B answer. Okay, cool, fine, great. That's true as well. Okay, so what I was talking about, if I'll talk about this convex, I'm talking about mirrors. It is going to give you the smaller image. And if I'll talk about concave, it is going to give you the larger image. Now I'll change the color of pen and give you some examples. If I'll talk about the dentist mirror or ENT doctors or these dentists, they want to see those particular areas which are not fine with the larger size, right? So for the larger size, we are going to use concave. But if I'll talk about the side mirrors, so here you can talk about the convex mirror, and obviously the plane mirrors are those which you are using on the daily basis at your home. So if I'll talk about shaving mirror, we want the larger size, right? So here concave will be the correct answer. And Manish, you are totally correct. Next we have, in a magnifying glass, dash lens is used. What do you think? Which particular lens must be used over here? The question is, in a magnifying glass, dash lens is used. So just try to use your logic. Now this is again from the Cgl part. Obviously, all the questions are from Cgl part. Just try to have a look at the magnifying word. Magnifying glass. That means the image will be large, right? And for the larger image, which kind of lens we are going to use? So Manish, are you going with B option over here? That is concave. And remember, I have just told you about the mirror. That was not lens. Mirror's logic and lens logic would be totally different. That is, in convex we studied convex mirror. We studied what? In the convex mirror, the size was getting smaller. But here convex lens, here size will be getting larger. Their concave mirror was getting the size in the larger shape. Here concave lens will be having lesser size. So what is the correct answer? For the magnifying glass, you want large image. So obviously for the large image, there, what was that? Concave mirror. Here it will be convex lens. So here option number A, that is convex will be the correct answer. I guess Manish got this point. Again, I'll write for you if there is any confusion. I was talking about mirror. If someone asks you about the mirror, for the larger one, you will use concave. For the smaller one, you will use convex. In the similar manner, if I talk about lens, for the large, you are going to use convex. And for the small, you can talk about concave. So it would be quite easier to understand in this manner, right? Okay, cool. So let's move forward to the next question now. Next, we have the loudness of the sound is dependent on what? So is it velocity, pitch, amplitude, or wavelength? Now you might be finding these questions quite difficult in nature in comparison to morning, because Manish, it was your first class today. That's why I'm saying. In the evening, we are having CGL batch. So it's according to CGL. That was according to CHSL, Steno and CPO. So there's a difference between both the classes, right? So that's why there's a difference between the levels as well. Okay, so what do you think? The loudness of the sound depends on what? So is it velocity, pitch, amplitude, or wavelength? What do you think? What will be the correct answer according to you? And if you're not aware of these terms, I will be explaining you by the graph as well. But I won't answer. Loudness of the sound depends on what? Is it velocity? Is it pitch? Is it amplitude? Or is it wavelength? Manish is going with D, that is wavelength. Okay, Manish, now I'll explain this part. Actually, I think you might have studied their definitions, but you must not be aware of the logics. I'll tell you what is actually happening. When we talk about a sinusoidal wave, this is sinusoidal wave. And when we talk about these waves, we have a part that is this upper one. Actually, when I made, it is quite looking at it is higher end, but these are actually at the same level. So what happens if I talk about the distance between these two upper parts or lower parts? They are at same distance. They are known as crust and trough part. So when I'll measure the distance between these two upper regions or lower regions, crust or trough, they are actually known as wavelength. This particular path is known as wavelength, where we are talking about the distance between two upper parts or lower parts, that is either crest or trough. Okay, this is what? This is wavelength. Now if someone asks you about the amplitude, how you are going to measure the amplitude? Amplitude means from its mean position to the maximum position, whatever distance it is, this position. This is actually your amplitude. This is your amplitude. So whenever someone asks you which particular sound is louder, so what you can check? Just check the size of this amplitude. If it is higher, then sound will be more. If it is lower, sound will be less. That is, loudness of the sound is actually dependent on this amplitude part. That is what? That is option number C. So yes, here amplitude, I can give you one more example. If someone asks you about the loudness, so I'll give you example. One of the wave is this one, and this is the second wave. So Manish, can you answer me whether it is first one or second one? Which one will be having louder noise? I guess now you can give this answer. Manish, it's especially for you, because right now you are only there here, and others who are there in the class, please, if there is any sort of doubt, please let me know. So Manish, what is the question? Question is, in which of the following graph, from which of the following graph we have Penitola over here? Okay, Adrish. Okay, Adrish. So yes, what I was saying, I was asking you which one of the following graph will be having loud noise. Is it 1 or 2? Adrish, you have kept this particular name quite difficult one, huh? So yes, I am waiting for the answer. What is the answer over here? Just try to have a point here. Just try to compare the length. This one is of lower length and this is of the higher length. So obviously this particular sound would be more louder in comparison to the first one. I guess, Manish, you got this point? Okay. So let's have a look at the next question now. Next we have, echo is produced due to what? Is it reflection of the sound, refraction of the sound, resonance, or none of these? What do you think? What will be the correct answer over here? Echo is produced due to what? So is it reflection, refraction, resonance, or none of the above? If I'll go with these options, first of all, let's talk about resonance. What's it? If I'll go with the resonance part now, here what is happening? The natural vibration, whatever natural vibration is there, if its vibration matches with the natural frequency, At that time, what is going to happen? There would be more intensity in that. And yes, I can give the example where if I'll talk about a bridge, let us assume there's a bridge and there are soldiers who are actually marching over there. Soldiers are actually asked to break their steps at this bridge. Why? Because if their frequency matches with the natural frequency of the bridge, it will start vibrating in such a manner that this bridge may collapse. That's why they are not allowed to move with the same particular path, right? Okay. So if I'll talk about this reflection and refraction, what is happening in echo? If there's a boy who is standing over here and he's shouting something or he's speaking something, now when he's speaking something, there's a hilly area, whatever it is. After this striking part, if this sound is reflected back, so this particular sound is known as, here this process is known as echolation or echo. And for this particular part to happen, for this echo to happen, there must be a minimum distance of 17 meter. So what is happening? This sound is actually reflecting back. That is, the sound which was produced by the boy is again coming back. So yes, Manish, you are absolutely correct. The correct answer is going to be your reflection. So reflection of the sound is actually, echo is actually because of the reflection of the sound. Next we have Newton's first law of motion gives the concept of what? Now this is basic one. This can be for CHSL as well. What do you think? What is going to be the correct answer over here? Newton's first law of the motion gives the concept of what? Is it energy, work, momentum, or inertia? So obviously we know that energy and work, they are not going to be the answers. We have doubt in momentum and inertia. Now you remember what is momentum. If I'll talk about momentum, momentum is, we are denoting it by P, and it is the product of mass and velocity. But has Newton given anything regarding this? Obviously not. So, oh yeah, in the first law of motion, there is no such logic now of momentum. Yes. Here, what's that? That is the inertia. This means what? This means if a body is in a state of rest, it will remain in a state of rest. If a body is in a state of motion, it will remain in the state of motion until unless an external force is applied on it. Now, what is that? Just take an example. If there's a pen which is kept on my hand. Now, if I'll talk about it, without any external force, it is not going to move, right? So, what I'm saying, if a body is in a state of rest, it will remain in the state of rest until and unless an external force is applied on it. Or if a body is in a motion, it will continue in a state of motion until unless an external force is applied on it. And here we can talk about the law of inertia. The first law of motion gives you the logic of inertia. So law of inertia is related to the Newton's first law of motion. So this is the thing, please remember. Let's move forward to the next question now. Next we have, what is the minimum escape velocity of rocket to be launched into the space? What do you think? What might be the minimum escape velocity of a rocket to be launched in the space? So there are two questions here. One question which can be from the current affair part, or I'll talk about geography part. What's that? Which is that particular location from where these rockets are launched? If I'll talk about ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, when they launch rocket, there might be some location. It's not that we are launching rocket from Delhi part, we are launching rocket from Agra. It's not possible, right? There are some fixed locations. So first of all, let me tell you, if I'll talk about the launching of the rockets, it is done from Sri Harikota. That is Sri Harikota. This is the location from which these rockets are launched. Now, Manish has already given the answer, so it is 11 km per second, and that's totally correct. If I'll talk about the exact value, obviously option C is correct. If I'll talk about the exact value is 11.2 km per second. And why this much velocity is required? There's a reason behind it. If I'll talk about Earth, so outside the Earth, there might be some level up till which this gravitational pull must be acting. Law of gravitation we are talking about. Gravitational force that is acting might be there, some particular area up till which it will act. Now, if I want to launch a rocket, I'll use blue pen over here. If I want to launch rocket, so obviously this rocket must cross this area. So for crossing this area, we need a minimum velocity. And what is that? That minimum velocity is actually 11.2 km per second. So again, I'll repeat. The minimum velocity which is required by the rocket to actually cross this area is 11.2 km per second. But This is from the earth part. If someone asks you about the minimum velocity from the moon part, so for the moon we have another value. So Manish, are you aware of that value? And any other candidate who is there here, are you aware of this part? If I talk about the moon, what is the minimum speed that is required? If not, let me tell you, that is going to be 2.4 kilometer per second. So if someone is launching rocket from the moon's part or any of the spaceship, whatever it is, if it wants to cross the vicinity of that particular moon part, so yes, it will be requiring minimum 2.4 kilometer per second, and for the earth part we require minimum 11.2 kilometer per second. So yes, option number C was correct over here. Next we have kinetic energy depends on what? So first option is velocity or the speed of moving body, second is mass of moving body, third is the pressure of the moving body, or fourth one is both mass and velocity of the moving body. So what is the correct answer? Kinetic energy depends on what? So is it the velocity or the speed of the moving body? Is it the mass of the moving body? Is it the pressure of moving body? Is it both mass and velocity of the moving body? Manish, waiting for your answer. And everyone who's there in the session, please start answering. Yes, what's the answer? Now it is the basic one. You can just get to know about it by using the formula. And what is the formula? We know about kinetic energy, that is what? Half mv square. This means if I want to calculate the kinetic energy, then we require mass also, velocity also. So kinetic energy is dependent on what? It is actually dependent on mass also and velocity also. Just have a look at the options. The velocity or the speed of the moving body, that's true. But then second option is with the mass. So obviously these will be denied because it is dependent on both. The pressure, there is no such logic of pressure over here. And absolutely, Manish, totally correct. It is dependent on both mass and velocity of the moving body. I guess you got this point. Now if I talk about energy, it is actually basically of two different types. Where if I talk about a body in which we are talking about anything that is actually taken from particular earth's part and is taken to the top of the building, where I'm talking about stationary part, you can talk about potential energy over there, which is actually dependent on the height. But if I talk about this kinetic energy, it is dependent on the mass and velocity both. That is, we are talking about the moving body. So yes, it is dependent on both mass and velocity. Next we have current carrying conductor is related to what? So is it magnetic field, electric field, electromagnetic field, or electrostatic field? What do you think? So Manish, I am waiting for the answer. Question is, current carrying conductor is related to what? Now obviously since this is from Cgl part, the answer which you will think in the first attempt, I guess it may be wrong. But let's see, what do you answer? And all the questions are from Cgl, previously asked in Cgl part. What do you think? Current carrying conductor is related to what? In the first attempt, it seems as if it will be electric field, right? Since it is carrying the current. So what do you think? Current carrying conductor is related to what? Yeah, I knew. It seems in the first go, if I talk about a current carrying conductor, it seems as if there would be electric field. Remember, I am going to tell you two different things and they are very, very useful. And what's that? Whenever I talk about electric current, when electric current flows, around it, magnetic field is generated. What's that? When we are talking about electric current, there's a magnetic field which is generated. Now, what was there in the starting when these discoveries were done, when Henry Oersted and all discovered all these facts? There was a scientist. After many years, there was a scientist whose name was Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday thought when there's an electric current which is flowing, it is creating magnetic field. So why it cannot happen that magnet can actually generate the electric field? So what happened? Here, Michael Faraday actually brought the logic where from the magnet electric field can be generated. And yes, here the correct answer would be magnetic field. But do not forget, if I talk about electromagnetic induction, that was given by whom? Michael Faraday. So all the motors which are working are based on the principle of electromagnetic induction. which was the logic that was given by Michael Faraday, right? Okay, so here you are going to have magnetic field as the correct answer. Next we have multimeter is used to measure what? So is it current, voltage, resistance, or all of these? So Manish, what do you think? What will be the correct answer over here? Multimeter. I have told this many times since you are in the class for the first time. Remember, whenever we talk about any of the question, if we are not aware of that, you can try to relate those words which are there in the question, or you can try to relate with the options as well. So Manish is going with voltage over here. Okay, Manish, first of all, if I try to break this word into two parts. First part is multi. And multi means what? Many. Obviously meter, that is device. A device which is measuring many of the different units. So it is current also. Obviously, ammeter measures the current, no doubt about that. But still, voltage, voltmeter measures that. Resistance. If I want to measure all these things, I can actually use a single device which is known as a multimeter. And you might have seen this device. Yellowish color device comes normally in the market. If you call any of the technician or any of the mechanic who is actually working on these particular parts or the electrical equipments, he has that particular device where there are those particular leads and it can measure each and everything. That is current also, voltage also, and resistance also. So multimeter is a device which can measure all these things, and that's why we'll say that what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be all of the above. Okay, so we have hello Anupam here. Okay, Anupam. So I'll be waiting for your answers also, Anupam, now. Now we have the force exerted by a magnet is an example of what? So let's see. Anupam will be the first one or Manish would be the first one to answer this. The force exerted by a magnet is an example of what? Is it non-contact force? Is it muscular force? Is it contact force? Or is it electrostatic force? Achha, you have seen many times, okay. But I guess Manish, I was not able to get your name. Or you might have seen those recorded classes. Okay, so as what I was saying, I was talking about this part where, so Anupam has already given the answer, so it would be contact force. Manish, what do you think? Is Anupam correct over here or you have any other different answer? And yes, it would be good if you can join your friends also so that we can start more interaction and we will be going with the postmortem of the questions. So yes, yeah, Manish is going with non-contact force. So there's a tough competition between Anupam and Manish. Let's try to understand this. If I try to draw a bar magnet, one is north pole and another is south pole. I'll use another magnet over here. I have another magnet which is having north pole and south pole. Now both of you try to understand this fact. When I'll bring both the magnets together, without any physical contact also, without any physical touch also, these magnets can either come towards each other or can go away from each other. That means here no such physical contact is required. So obviously when no such physical contact is required, we can talk about a force that is actually a non-contact force. Got my point? Again I am saying what? Just have a look at this word, non-contact force, where without any physical touch also they can actually move, right? Because of the poles part. Okay, and we are aware of if they are of opposite nature, opposite poles, they will be attracting. If they would be same pole, they would be repulsing. That is, they will be moving apart. So yes, if I'll talk about this option is electrostatic force. Now here if I'll talk about this electrostatic force, you can talk about those charges, right? Where we were denoting those Q1, Q2, Fq1, Q2 upon R square. Remember that part? Okay. So non-contact force is a force in which no physical contact is required. So yes, magnetic force will be its example. Good. So Manish, Anupam, awesome. Next time Anupam will not be wrong, I'm sure. Let's see about this question. Who was the one who has discovered television? Is it Michael Faraday? Is it Joseph Henry? Is it Abbe Kessley, or is it John Baird? What do you think? We have four options: Michael Faraday, Joseph Henry, then Abbe, and then we have option number D, that is John Baird. What will be the correct answer? So Manish, your answer please. Have you given A answer? That is Michael Faraday. Manish is going with A and Anupam is going with D. Okay. So yes, let's see here again. So we have two of the famous scientists over here. First of all, if I'll talk about Michael Faraday, I've just discussed about it. He was the one who has, Manish is also with D. Awesome. So both of you are correct. Totally correct. So when I talk about Michael Faraday, we were talking about electromagnetic induction, right? So electromagnetic induction was given by Michael Faraday. But if I talk about this television, it was discovered by John Baird, or we can talk about J.L. Baird. Very good. Awesome. Next. So before moving forward, let me tell you about the Exampur official application, which is one-stop solution for the government job aspirants. What all things we have? We have live paid courses with the test series. We have free subject-wise and topic-wise quiz with the report card. Also, yes, Manish, absolutely correct. Then we have job alert, admit card, examination date, all exam previous year PDF with the solution. Then we have free all India scholarship test with the report card. Then topic-wise free live classes, free full length and sectional test with the report card, free exam-wise PDFs and practice set PDF, daily, weekly and monthly current affairs, unlimited subject-wise practice questions, all these things at a single platform. Just go at Play Store, type Exampur over there, click on the install button, click on the open part, just do the registration and start using it. Okay, so we have next question. Not is a measure of what? So not is the measurement of what? So let's see. Manish or Anupam, who is going to be the correct answer? Who is going to give the correct answer? And everyone who is there in this session, please start giving answers. All these questions are very, very important. So waiting for the answer. And yes, again I'll say, all these questions are from the previous Ssc Cgl examinations. So answer please. Knot is a measurement of what? So is it the speed of ship? Is it the curvature of spherical objects? Is it solar radiation? Or is it intensity of the earthquake shock? What can be the correct answer? I'm waiting for the correct answer. And then I'll move forward. And everyone else who is not aware of this answer, please try to give answers. Why? Because once you are wrong here, you will be 100% correct in the main examination. And this is my experience. Yeah. So Manish is the first one to give answer A. Anupam is also going with A. And yes, both of you are correct. Absolutely correct. If I talk about knot, just have a look at the word knot. Can you relate it with the nautical miles? So we have a word that is nautical mile. And what is that? This nautical mile is actually used to measure the distance. Right? In the earlier movies, you might have, so we have Dana D, who has also given answer A. Totally correct. Let's understand about this. So in earlier movies, if we might have seen, we used to talk about, okay, I have actually walked this much mile. And even we talk about those milestones. Why are they known as milestones? Obviously, because we are talking about the length, right? So yes, if I talk about those kilometers which we are using right now, but earlier times, some of the countries were using that mile word. So if I talk about mile, that mile word was actually for the land part. But for the water bodies, the distance is actually nautical mile. And this nautical mile is almost equal to 1.8 kilometers. It is asked in the examination, do not forget. It is almost 1.85. So I'll write 1.8 kilometers, right? And yes, one more thing. Yeah, totally correct. It is exactly 1.82. So yes, what I was talking about this nautical mile. So it is actually the distance unit. And yes, if I talk about the speed, normally we say what? Kilometer per second or meter per second. It is in that manner, escape velocity was in kilometer per second. In the similar manner, for the speed of the ship, we are having knot. Very good. So Dana D, then Manish, Anupam, all of you were correct here. Next we have, the size of the nucleus is measured in what? So is it AMU? Is it angstrom? Is it centimeter? Or is it Fermi? What do you think? What will be the correct answer over here? Thank you, Manish, for the same. Actually, it's not me who's great. You all are great. Actually, when I get those particular answers in such a manner, I feel like I must go in the detail of each and every part. So yes, Anupam is going with B, that is angstrom. What do you think? What will be the correct answer here? Anupam is also with angstrom. And yes, if I talk about this angstrom, A naught, right? So yes. Yeah. So Dana D, waiting for your answer as well. So yes, if I talk about the size of the nucleus, that's true. If I talk about this part here, in this manner, if I try to measure this particular length, if I talk about this length, here we can talk about the atomic radius. This whole part is going to be the diameter part, right? But if only this part I'm talking about, this is atomic radius. And if I talk about this nucleus, only this part. So what happens? Obviously, it's not that in angstrom or in centimeter we can't measure. We can measure. But normally what we are doing? We are using a Sir, November 17, I am going to give my first SST examination seminar to learn about how to attend the examination in computer. It will reduce my pressure in the CGL examination. Then what you can do, I'll just explain this part, then I'll move forward. Okay. So what I was saying, see, when we are talking about these units, obviously we can even talk about centimeters. But for the better clarity, what we'll do, we'll go with the Fermi part. And yes, it's not that we cannot go with centimeter and angstrom. We can go, but for the clarity, we need to go with Fermi. Yes. So we have Denady over here. Denady is saying, so this would be your first examination for SSC Steno. So you need to attend. Okay, you can do one thing, Denady. What you will do, you will try to give those particular examinations on the application where you will be getting a real world scenario. Where, see, when you will give the examination, you will be having those particular options where you can click on save and next. All those parts where you are skipping the question, it will show reddish in color. So what you can do, you can attempt those free mocks which are present here, and accordingly you can manage. If you have any issue, tomorrow again I will be having class at 3 o'clock. Yes, tomorrow we will be having single class at 3 o'clock and I will be explaining in more detail, but try to give the mock test over here. Okay, let's move forward with the next question. Next we have the fundamental particles present in the nucleus of an atom are what? So is it electron proton, is it proton neutron, is it neutron electron, or is it neutron positron? What is the correct answer over here? So Denady, Manish, Anupam, who would be the first one to answer this? We have already discussed about the size of the nucleus. So Anupam is the first one to answer proton and neutron. Great. So Denady and Manish, your answers are still pending. Anupam is the first one to answer this. And everyone who's there in the session, please like it and share it. Please do that. Kiran is with the answer, that is a proton and neutron. Denady is going with A, that is electron and proton. Manish, your answer is pending. Till the time you are giving answer, let me tell you. When we talk about any of the atom, right? What we know, if I talk about a nucleus part, which is there in the center, here we have proton and neutron. And remember this word, this is very, very important for the examination. The combination of proton and neutron is actually known as nucleon. This combination is actually known as nucleon, but electrons are actually revolving around it. Electrons are actually revolving around it. So I'll talk about a nucleus. So within a nucleus, you are only having proton and neutron. There is no such electron. Do not go with the electron part. Who was the one who was given? Denady. Denady, please remember, electrons are the one which are actually revolving around it. So I'll talk about the nucleus. Nucleus is the one where we are having proton and neutron, and the proton and neutrons combination is known as nucleon. So yes, I guess now everyone is correct. Now everyone can answer this. No issues, Karan, no issues. Okay. So here, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is going to be proton and neutron. Next we have the triad of a nuclei is isotone in what? The triad of a nuclei is isotone in what? Now, Kiran, Manish, Anupam, Denady, who all are there in the session, if you are in the state of dilemma, you are in the state of doubt. Sir, what is this isotone? Once you tell me isotone, I will give you the correct answer. So I will tell you, just try to have a look at this word, isotone. If I will break this word into two parts, iso means same. If I'll go with this any, just try to have a look at this word, it is relating with neutron. So we have to check in these options that, sir, where are these number of neutrons same? So what happens in this scenario? First, let me know how many of you are not aware of this question, how to solve this. So can you just comment me and tell me how many of you are not aware of this, because I will not skip all these questions in such a manner that you are not aware of this and I am saying this is the correct answer and let's move forward. If you are not aware, please comment and let me know how you are going to calculate the number of neutrons. Denady is saying, sir, it would be having same mass number. Okay. Denady, now there's a difference. There's a difference. Try to understand this part. But before that, I want the answer. If you are aware of, I'll go in the super fast manner. Denady is saying, sir, it would be having same number of neutrons. But the issue is that, how can we calculate it? Manish wants to know. Okay. So Anupam, Denady, Kiran, that means I can assume you are aware of this. So please answer. Then I'll be explaining to Manish. No, not so please answer. There's nothing to feel shy about it. We are here to learn. So if I'll calculate the number of neutrons, how to do that? Just have a look. If it is written that it is, let us assume it is written in such a manner. Now, what is the thing that you have to remember? The number which is always given in the upper end, this is actually known as mass number. The number which is at the lower end, we call it a atomic number. First thing and most important thing. No issues, Kiran, Denadi, Manish. Remember this part. The number which is given upwards is mass number, lower one is atomic number. Now there might be confusion in the examination. You might be thinking, sir, how will I remember the upper one was mass or lower one was mass? So we have a trick. Just have a look. If I'll go with this word ma, just go with the word ma. Ma will always remain on top. If you will get towards 45 years or 50 years of age also, na, your ma will always remain on the top. So ma will always remain on the higher end. So the upper number is always ma, that is mass number. Lower number will be atomic number. First thing. Second thing is, if I talk about this mass number, it is denoted by Z. This is also asked in the examination. Mass number is denoted by, sorry. Mass number is actually denoted by A. And atomic number is denoted by Z. Do not forget. Second important thing. Third important thing is, when I talk about mass number, if I want to calculate the mass, I will go with proton plus number of neutrons. This was the sum which was there in the nucleus. Remember, if I want to go with the atomic number, there's a sequence order which we remember with that periodic table. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. See, it came on 6th number now. 6 is the atomic number of the carbon. Got my point? Okay. So now what we will do, if I want to calculate the number of neutrons, for calculating the number of neutrons, what will I do? I will just subtract mass number minus atomic number. So now I have given you whole of the hint. Now I want the answer. Now I want answer from your end. What I am saying, if I want to calculate the number of neutrons, what I will do? I will try to subtract mass number with the atomic number. Now, if you are getting the same numbers for all the three parts, that option will be correct. So, no one has given the answer till now. I have explained all the logics. And obviously, I will try to solve also and tell you how we are going to solve it. But I want to answer. This is the thing that you have to use. For calculating the number of neutrons, you will be using mass number minus atomic number. And question was isotone, that is same number of neutrons. So, how you can calculate the neutrons? Just have a look. Manish, you are running out of the data. Just try to decrease the size of the video. So, Anupam has given the first answer, that is A. Denadi, Kiran, I am waiting for your answer. Manish, if you can arrange the data for these next 2 or 3 minutes, it would be great. And everyone who is there in the session, now please like it and share it. Please, please, please. Yes. So, my question is, you have to tell the number of neutrons. Just try to calculate it. Okay, Manish. Okay. So, we will meet tomorrow at 3. Fine. So, yes, everyone else try to have a look here. 14 minus 6 will give you what? 8. 15 minus 7 will give you what? 8. Areva, it is getting with the first option itself. 17 minus 9 will give you what? Again 8. So, yes, obviously option number A is going to be the correct answer. Man, no need to go with other options. Just have a look. There would be no option that would be correct. 12 minus 6 will be 6. 14 minus 4 will be 7. And 18 minus 9 will be 9. I guess I am correct. 9 to 18, yeah. So, this will be wrong. In the similar manner, this was what? If I'll go with this part, it would be 8. This is 7. Obviously, this will be wrong. This is 8. Then this is 7. So, this will be wrong. So, yes, same isotone. So, yes, what is going to happen? Option number A will be correct. So, Denadi, Kiran, Manish, I guess you were running out of the data. So, Anupam, have you got this point? I guess you will never be wrong with this isotone. And next time I'll be explaining about the isobar also. For isobar, remember, if I'll talk about isobar, what is the bar? In the real world example, if I'll talk about bar, it's that location where those alcohols and all are sold out, right? So, yes, what will happen? Whether it is mine mother, whether it is Denadi's mother, whether it is Anupam's mother or it is Kiran's mother, each and every mother will say, no need to go at bar. It's the worst place, right? So, all mothers will be same. Sabki maa ek jaisi hongi. That is, maa is going to be same. So, maa for bar, each and every maa will be same. So, mass number is always same for that isobar. Iso means same. Bar, all the maa will be same, right? So, for the isobar, all the mass are same. That is, mass number is same. In the similar manner, you can go with the other parts as well. Okay. So, yes, let's go forward with the last question of the day. And the last question of the day would be, lichen is an association between which of the two? Is it algae fungus? Is it algae and tree? Is it fungus and tree? Is it bacteria and legume plant? Last question for the day, and tomorrow we'll meet up with the next class. So yes, waiting for the answer. Acha, you knew? Okay, Kiran, cool. So what about this question? The question is, lichen is the association between which of the following options? So this is from bio part now. So here, please remember, lichens are the ones which are in the association between the algae and the fungus. So here, option number A will be the correct answer, right? Yeah, Danady, very good. That's great. So yes, everyone, from tomorrow we will be having our science mixed classes between 3 to 4, right? And the most important thing is, yeah, it's the indicator, true, for the pollution part if I'll talk about. So yes, okay, Anupam, got your answer. Now if I'll talk about Danady, please remember what I was saying. Please go with the mock test so that you can prepare yourself for the main examination. Without mock test, don't go directly and sit in the examination because it will create issue. We must be aware of what kind of pattern is there. We must be aware of how we are going to sit in the examination. So those mock tests are important. You can go with our application and start giving test. Whatever issue you face, please let me know tomorrow. Okay. So bye-bye everyone. Please take care. Enjoy. And yes, we'll meet tomorrow again at 3 with the mixed questions from the science part. So bye-bye. Please take care.